quick video, but I'm going to do it in a few parts. I've been wanting for a long time to do one of the sunburst type layouts, and I've watched a couple videos on it, and I'm doing one myself because I think there were a couple things in some of them that helped to go together, and something that I figured out on my own when I did a smaller version of this for another project. So the first thing I did see in another video, I think maybe it was Nicole Jones 911, I'm not sure, and that is to start with in one of the quadrant, you know, if you divide the layout into 4, in one of the quadrants, because I don't want mine to be centered, in one of the quadrants, or sort of towards the edge of one of the quadrants, to draw a circle. Okay. And I just drew all of this with a pencil. My circle, I actually used the inside of a tape roll, but any circle will do. It doesn't have to be perfect, really. And that is because the photo, when I do the eventual layout, the photo, sorry about that, the photo is going to go in that area right where that circle is. So the circle itself doesn't really matter all that much. What it does is it keeps these points from having to all try to fit in this one little spot in here. This way you're not going to have all these points that are fighting for the same space. The trick is that once you get all of these pie shapes or bursts or whatever you want to raise cut out, because of the way you're doing this, creating a template, cutting them out and whatever, they're going to want to overlap a little bit anyway, and so you kind of have to fool with it a little bit, which I'll get to when I get to that portion of the layout. This first part, I'm just going to kind of show you. What I've done is I took it's a crappy old piece of like cardboard that was in the back of a pattern paper pack or something, and I drew the template on it. Again, start with the circle. Then the next important thing, and I've not seen anybody else mention this, but I discovered after I'd done it wrong on a smaller version, like I said, that 8x8 one I did, that this dot, putting a dot in the middle of the circle, becomes very, very important, because as you're drawing these lines, and what I did was just took a ruler, any kind of straight edge, and draw the lines, and I did not space them evenly. You'll kind of see, and this will show up better later, but I didn't worry about spacing the lines evenly. I didn't measure anything, just drew the lines at kind of random intervals around the circle. The important thing is that the line, you put one end of the ruler so it would be where that dot is, and then just draw a line to the edge. You don't have to draw the lines within the circle, you certainly can. Then what I'm going to do next, and I'll show you kind of after I get this portion done, is just cut on all of these lines so that I have individual shapes of the rays. Of course, once I get this done once for a 12x12, I'll have it to use forever if I want, and can save it. I then just numbered each of the pie shapes, what will become my pie shaped little templates, so that as I go to put these back together, what I'll do is number the pieces as I draw them out, and then I know exactly what order they go in around the circle, around the square. So hopefully that makes sense as far as the template, and I'll be back shortly with more. Okay, so I got too tired last night to finish, and so now it's morning. And what I've done is I cut apart my piece of cardboard, chipboard backing, whatever you want to call it. I numbered it both front and back with the same numbers. Again, I have basically these are like little pie shapes now. And then I used them to trace on just scraps of paper that I got out of my scrap drawer. And I did kind of try to make like a rainbow thing. A couple of tricks to doing this. First one, when you cut apart the pieces, I numbered front and back so that I can flip these over and use the back to trace, and then when I get all my colors cut, it's going to look just like the original because I just flip them over to the good side, if you will. So just make sure, whether you're using this side or this side, that you're always using the same side for every piece of the circle, or you will run into a lot of difficulty. Then the next thing that I did, once I had them all cut, I actually, and I think you can see a little bit there, I outlined each of them. And I had forgotten that it is best, if you're going to outline them, if you actually wait to do the outlining until you have the whole thing together. That's because of the way these are cut, the originals will fit exactly together, but once you trace them and cut that, you're gonna be a little off. If you're a perfectionist, this is not a great project for you. So these are gonna be just a little bit off. You sort of move things, budge them around a little bit to compensate for that as you're actually putting it together on a piece of paper. But that can mean that you may end up with a little bits. What I usually end up with is little bits on the edge that I just need to like shave off with my X-Acto knife at the end. So that's kind of what I did. The problem is, if I've already outlined, I'm going to have to go back in and correct or fix some of the outlines. So through the magic of television, not really television, but yeah, I do have, mostly it's the fact that I'm making two of these layouts. I do have one. All I did was take a blank piece of white cardstock and glued them all down. Then I went back and trimmed off that little edge around them, fixed any outlines, kind of there you go. Sort of the view around the circle. Again, this circle is going to be where my photo goes. When I get ready to do this layout in a couple minutes, when I have both of these cut out, I'll come back when I'm ready to start gluing things down and show you how I finish off the layout. But what you can do is you're going to focus people's attention on certain colors by where you put them. So if I were to lay the layout like this, it's going to seem very pinkish because my pink is in this kind of dominant corner. If I move it just a little bit like that, to me anyway, the pink becomes less dominant and you feel more blues and greens and even into the purples. So you can kind of keep that in mind as you decide the orientation of your final layout and how you're going to do that. You can do this differently if you just want to alternate colors. You can simply just alternate 2 or 3 colors. I have 19 different colors there just because I was trying to use up some scraps and it looked like fun. So be back in a bit with working on the final layout. Okay, so 2 layouts completed. One for her, there, and one for my son, there. So for hers, I'm going to push his to the side a little bit. What I did after the last video, I went ahead and trimmed my edges and fixed the outlining. I added transparency. I had these squares of a 12 by 12, and there were like 4 different animal prints on 6 by 6s. So I cut that up, used one of the 6 by 6s, cut it in half, attached a little journaling card to the back of the photo, attached the transparencies to either side, added a title with some American Crafts thickers, crazy, pretty, crazy, whatever you want. As I was looking for the thickers for his layout, I came across those Maggie Holmes bows in my stash. Thought that was too perfect to go with the layout. Before I tacked all my photos and stuff down, I did sprinkle a little bit of That's the Heidi Swap in black velvet. Maybe you can see some of the little droppy drops. Maybe not. So that's hers. His, all I did was found cardstock in a good color, some different American Crafts stickers, Those letters are by Simple Stories, Snap Simple Stories. He got a bow as well because it matched that paper perfectly. He also got some sprinkles. I think you can see them on his a little bit better. Maybe. And so that's it, really. 2 pages done and going in the books. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.